If you liked it, then you should have subscribed to Concept Soup on it. If you liked it, then you should have dropped a like on it. Oh, I'm not going to continue this joke. It's not very funny. Today, yeah, PC builds. You know how we go, how we roll. Do you prefer the agonist or the antagonist? Ooh. So we've got two juicy PC builds for you. One with a blue theme, one with a dark red theme, and you're going to be deciding down in the comments which you prefer the best. But that's not all we're doing in this video. We're going to be having a little discussion as always, so we're going to be talking about Intel and why that might be a good choice for you at the moment. We're also going to be taking a focused look at the Cooler Master TD500 Mesh case, because we like to focus on one component when we do a build, just to give it a bit of an edge. So that's great. So that's the introduction. Done. Let's get into more of the meat of the video now. So let's just have a brief talk about Intel. So Intel have been dragged through the mud in the press recently. Yeah, with good reason, because AMD was kicking their arse and kind of still is. So in terms of pure performance, Ryzen, yeah, you're absolutely kicking the arse of Intel here. But with Intel, you're getting much better value for money at the moment. So we had a choice with this kind of spec. Do you want to go for a 5600X, which is the Ryzen 5 part with 6 cores? Or do you want to spend maybe 50 quid more and get the Intel i9-10900F? And for that £50 spring, I think this is a really good choice to go for the i9, because you're getting 4 more cores, maybe 5 to 10% slower in terms of single thread gaming performance. But those extra cores, not only will they give you more longevity into the system as a whole, it also means you can do lots of multitasking without experiencing any slowdown. So it's really good for streamers and content creators as a sort of a dual use CPU. So I think this is a really smart choice. And then we're also going to be looking at the TD500 Mesh, but we'll have a closer look at that in a moment. Before we do that, let's just go through the parts, and we're going to talk through why I've chosen each part as we go through. So of course, it is no surprise, i9-10900F, this is just the sleeper. 311 quid, ball in CPU for the price, 10 core, 20 thread, and technically it can boost up to 5.3 gigahertz. Also you can unlock this with some motherboards to run at a higher power, really nice overall, and runs really cool because it's the F SKU, not the K SKU. Obviously no overclocking on board. To cool this, 360mm Cooler Master RGB AIO here. We've got it in the OEM packaging because we've got it nice and cheap, but that's going to be providing lots of RGB and lots of cooling as well. Next up on our list of parts, of course, we're talking about the motherboard. So this is the ASRock B560 Pro 4. Really good value. Internal USB-C header, not needing it this time, but a nice feature to have that many boards don't have. And in terms of the VRM quality, the build quality, it's absolutely plenty for an F-SKU chip. F-SKU chips can run between 65 and you can get them up to 125 if you use base frequency boosting in the motherboard. But even at the higher TDP, this motherboard's plenty, absolutely plenty for handling this chip. I would say maybe it was a bit too weak if you were going to run a 10900K or an 11900K on this, because they sip the power a bit more. But with an F-SKU chip, this board is really fabulous, and having the B560 platform means you can get the most out of your memory as well. It's really nice, and also this board I think also has 3 M2 slots as well, which is awesome. So it's actually a nicely featured board. Gets a lot of stick in the press or whatever for not working very well out of the box, but anyone that's building computers maybe for a living or regularly will know that they need to tweak any motherboard BIOS anyway to get the most out of their systems, and I do that with all of mine anyway. So having it not work perfectly out of the box is no problem for me, because I just change the settings that matter. But enough said about that. Let's move on. So next up is the storage. So on the storage front, we have a 1TB SN550. That's an NVMe SSD. Very reliable, very fast. There's a reason why you see it all the time on the channel. Just the value overall is excellent. So this is a bit of a no-brainer, okay? So we have the RAM next. This is the XPG Gamix D10 by ADATA, 3200 speed, perfect on that sweet spot. You don't need 3600 RAM for a gaming system, all right? It's just not required. It doesn't really make much difference anyway, maybe 1%. Video card, everyone's interested in the video cards. Of course, we've got the EVGA RTX 3070 8GB XC3 Ultra version. Looks great, really performs very nicely. I really like this video card. But of course, all the 3070s are good, really, aren't they? Wi-Fi card, we've got the Gigabyte Wi-Fi card here. And the key thing with this one is not only it's got black PCB, so it looks nice, also we've got a really nice extendable antenna as well. Power supply to finish up, Corsair CX650M, semi-modular 80 plus bronze power supply. Got it for a good price, so it's nice to have something a little bit different from the Cooler Master that we normally use on the channel. And this is what's going to set our builds apart, okay? So we're going to have a red and black theme, and then sort of a blue theme as well. So the blue one's going to go into the white version of the case, and the red one's going to go into the black version of the case. So we're going to have two sort of contrasting looks. But yeah, I mean, that's really it. That is the end of the parts. Let's move on. We're going to check out the case, then we'll have a build-tage, bit of gaming, and then we're done. So we like to look over our case. Of course, we're going for the black one here, but we're using both. But obviously they're both the same, so let's just show you what's inside it. So the top part comes off with captive thumb screws, and actually all the panels have captive thumb screws, which are great. The panel just slides off super easy. This is a really good mechanism, actually. I really like that. Looking over the case, you've got a nice cutout here for a 360mm rad if you wanted to front mount it. I prefer that to be covered, but it's up to you. A nice large top area there for mounting up to a 360mm rad. Plenty of cable grommets, plenty of space to run your cables through here, so that's really, really nice. Again, really nice PCIe slot covers, because there's easily sort of vertical mounting on this, no problem, because you haven't got those metal bars in between, so that's another really nice plus. Nothing too exciting on the back. And then if we go into the other chamber here, decent sized PSU support. You've got two hard drive bays here. If you really need a beefy PSU, you can take out that hard drive cage. A couple of SSD bays, plenty of cable management room. Really nicely laid out case this overall. And then there's the front I/O, so you've got two USB 3s, power button, your audio, and a reset button. And just look at how fine that mesh is. It's absolutely brilliant. So that is going to really let so much airflow through, and it's got this really cool sort of polygonal pattern, which does look quite striking. So that's a whistle-stop tour of the case. Time for a build-tage, and we shall meet again in approximately a minute and a half. And kablamo! Couple of very, very nice looking machines. What can I say? These are absolutely gorgeous. I think they're a really nice pair of machines. Excellent cooling, plenty of RGB. I think out of the two, I prefer the agonist, the white and blue. I think that just looks really cool. And they do something with the glass on this case that just, it's not tinted, it's ever so slightly tinted, which gives it this really cool sort of like aquarium vibe on the inside, which is really hard to appreciate on simply a video. But when you see it in real life, it does look really, really good. But I think both look awesome. And you may have noticed in the background of this video a few PCs. So maybe if we take off the NVIDIA Broadcast background blur feature, you'll see that they're right behind me. Really, really nice looking machines, these. Some of my favourites that I've done in a while, and Cooler Master just did a really good job with this. It's like a return to form, because most of their cases I really don't like them because they've got lots of acrylic on them and there's no airflow, but this is like really going, look, we know what we're doing, guys, this is a great case. So I'm not really going to say too much more about this, aside from it's a really, really good case and just an absolute no-brainer if you like the look of it, because it's just excellent. I suppose the only drawback with this case is that you'll need to get a motherboard that has specifically DC control of the fans, because they're 3-pin fans that come with it on the front. But aside from that, really good. I can't really say anything wrong about this case. Nicely sized, great proportions, great cable management. So overall, an excellent, excellent rating. But otherwise, the build process on these was very straightforward. It's just like pretty much any build that I've done. So you might have noticed again that the AIO is actually rotated 90 degrees. So that logo actually is usually landscape rather than portrait on the water cooler head. But I just think it looks nicer this way. The tubes aren't stretched as much. And because it's not got any text on it, it doesn't actually matter whether you have it horizontal or vertical, so I think it looks really good. And having a 360mm cooler, just really, mainly for the RGB, just makes it look really, really cool. So there you go, and all that's left to be talked about is the performance. So we're going to roll a bit of gaming. We're going to see how this does in COD and Fortnite, as well as a few other tests, and that should round us out for the day. Thank you very much. Bye. And rolling into COD Warzone, we're in the Gulagio, fighting for our life. We probably got killed by some kind of hacker or something. And just waiting to pop this mofo in the bonce. There's the crouch, there's the shot, and one more. Give him a tap in the chest, and he's done for. And then dropping back in, I think I managed to secure one kill, and then get absolutely trounced by some kind of Major League sweat or something. So there you go. That's COD Warzone. Pretty nice performance. On another day, it might even have higher performance. This is probably a bit lower than I'd expect. So really nice, smooth for Warzone. And let's move on to Fortnite. Every 8-year-old's dream, but I actually quite like this game. So, yeah. But there you go. So gunning him in the head with a 120 headshot. And we're just, showing off the performance here. Great performance. This is on ultra settings, by the way, at 250 frames per second, 1080p. If you put this onto like low comp settings, you're easily hitting about 450 FPS. So an absolutely stellar performer. I'm not going to let you down in Fortnite whatsoever. I mean, this is absolutely mental for Fortnite. You don't need to spend this much on a Fortnite PC. But enjoy the gameplay. I'll see you again in a minute. So that's the gameplay done, and my skills are much better in Fortnite than they are in COD Warzone, of course. But a bit of fun. We got some good test results there, which we'll put up on the screen as well. Managed to keep it, pretty cool, but it is an F-SKU chip, so, CPU is never going to get that hot. And indeed the video card, again, great temperatures again, exactly what you'd expect. So pretty much everything was right on the money for what I was expecting from this PC, and it's just a really good investment having those 10 cores, 20 threads. And it's a really good time to buy those kind of parts right now. Obviously not the video cards, but it's just a good time to buy because you're coming towards the end of its release cycle. It's a bit cheaper. Good all-round purchase. So let me know what you thought in the comments section below. But particularly I'm interested in, did you prefer agonist in blue or antagonist in red? What did you think was your favourite? I've already said I think the blue one's nicer, but I think both look really cool. So I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. As always, please subscribe to the channel, please like the channel and everything else like that. Goodbye, until next time, sweet cheeks.